Okay, so obviously, CREB has not put out, or it might be in your emails right this second, their October stats report was, so yes. September finished up on the 30th. That's the way the months work. And October 1st, yesterday, CREB is putting out the report for the week. So we expect to get it this morning. So keep an eye on that in terms of benchmark price changes.
Real estate review will be out to you guys by Friday at the absolute latest this week too. So you'll have those stats packages as well. Exactly.
But one of the things we're seeing right now is the amount of inventory coming onto the market has slowed, and sales are starting to stay the same. I wouldn't say they're picking up, but they're selling a bit faster than they're coming on the market, which means that we're going to see improvements in our absorption rate and the months of inventory, which is going to indicate that it's always changes in months of inventory that affect prices. So this is a little bit seasonal now. I expect things to stay sort of flat, maybe another 0.5 or 1%. Kind of by the end of the year, right. Depending on how it goes, maybe 0.5%. But things will just kind of stay steady. But the good news is we've actually seen that plateau in inventory, so the market's not going to get overly flooded.
Awesome. Yeah. As far as, we're going to talk a little bit about this in a second, but as far as price of oil goes, that's still staying relatively stable. Canadian dollar is staying relatively stable. We don't think there's going to be too much fluctuation on that. Calgary economy is doing relatively well. I just read a report that says, construction is really starting to pick up. It's a little bit cheaper than it used to be. Retail space is still doing really good. Obviously, there's that big hype that hopefully Amazon is going to move here and create 50,000 jobs for people. So, we'll see how that goes.
Yeah, no guarantees. That's a long shot, but hopefully, it's we keep a little bit of hope alive for that one.
You know what? There is a little bit of hope.
Yes.
There's a little bit of hope. Yeah. But also, one of the things that's not necessarily holding us back, but there's a bit of speculation that as interest rates creep up a little bit, there's been a little bit of a surge in building because debt has been cheap. But as debt becomes a little bit less cheap, which is what's happening, we might see a little bit of a hold back there. But the good news on that is for the next 6 months, because as everybody knows, next year there's speculation that interest rates might go up a little bit, 3 more times. So in the next 6 months, there might be a lot of people securing some money to get things going while they still can. So that could give us a bit of a boost.
And at our McDonald Realty Conference that we were at last week, they had an economist speak at the start, and he mentioned that everybody unanimously believes that Alberta will lead the charge for economic growth in 2018.
Yes.
So they think just because of obviously the recession, we were definitely dragging the Canadian side down for the last couple of years, 3 years, I guess. And so now they expect us to come and bounce back quite well.
Well, one of the interesting things, too, on that is they were showing all of the kind of second home, vacation rental type, vacation ownership type properties in Kelowna, the Okanagan, Peachland, and whatnot. And this summer, specifically the last 3-4 months, sales really spiked, and a lot of that was Alberta buyers.
So Alberta-driven.
It was Alberta-driven, and for 2 years, they didn't have those numbers there at all. So the fact that even that went up from our side, I think this year is optimistic.
And I just want to say, when you're talking to your buyers out there, if you have anybody who's sitting on the fence, encouraging them to buy before the end of the year, I know that's still a few months away, but encouraging them to do that with the anticipation. There's lots of economic data out there supporting the fact that Calgary is going to rally, and that is just going to mean price increases. And as we see inventory plateau and the absorption rate numbers improve, that means that we're going to start seeing it go the other way. So if there's sort of, where's that bottom? And we've been going up this year. There hasn't been a bottom. But if there's a time for optimum amount of choice in terms of inventory versus the price they're going to pay for future appreciation, you may want to look at now as a hell of a good time. So, all right.
Absolutely.
Let's look at the numbers. As per our chats, price of oil is up 51.64. That's up from 50.66 last week. Canadian dollar slid just a bit, but not much, to 80.30 cents US.
Number of listings very stable in both our big areas. Metro Calgary 7,229, Red Deer 745.
As for the months of inventory in Calgary, we are looking at a little bit of an improvement here. Some green numbers across the board. Not huge, flat, but again, it's like we've had that stabilization in the inventory. Calgary is sitting overall at 4.81 months of inventory. Single-family homes, 3.80. Condos, 6.95. And note that single-family homes have just trickled back down into that balanced market territory. So single-family homes have actually improved from being a buyer's market to a balanced market.
In our surrounding areas, quite a bit of stability here as well. Okotoks sitting at 6.23, Airdrie 4.88, Cochrane 4.33, Strathmore 6.77, Sundre 10.10, Chestermere 7.19, Red Deer 5.67, and benchmark price $442,300.
And again, we expect that benchmark price to adjust later this afternoon.
Yes.
Great. Let's look at what's going on in the company.